6 weeks after Virginians began social distancing and then eventually mostly staying at home, what is the state of our local economy? Are businesses by and large surviving? Joining me now to discuss the economic landscape is Brian Anderson. He is the president and CEO of Chamber RVA. Brian, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Bill. Glad to be with you.
Well, we learned today 74,000 Virginians filed for unemployment over the last week, 500,000 now out of work. How would you describe the state of local businesses that you're familiar with?
Well, it's a full range, Bill, from those that have completely had to shut down because of the stay-at-home orders and not being able to operate their businesses, up to some that have been able to continue to work with their employees working remotely, like our staff is doing, and having minimal interruptions. We've actually just had to change the type of work we're doing. So it's all across the board. It's certainly serious. A lot of people have lost their jobs and have had to go on unemployment. Many businesses have gone through the PPP or CARES Act assistance. So it ranges from small business to large. Everybody's been affected, but it just depends on what kind of business you're in as to how the effects have hurt you.
Well, would you describe the relief bills, whether it was the Payment Protection Program or the economic injury or an SBA loan? I mean, are those plans working? Have they helped your members?
They're helpful, and we've been working hard with a lot of other organizations in the region to make sure we can give people good, accurate information, helping them with tutorials and webinars of how to make the application. Our financial institutions and SBA-approved lenders are working extremely hard to make sure people can get through the process. But you know, the federal government is government, and it takes a while for things to get through the process. So we're hopeful with round two that more people will get the help they need, and we continue to see people to get the capital they need, the working cash, to make sure they can reopen when it's time to do so and keep their employees during the downtime.
Well, could you paint a picture for us that when we emerge from our state of essentially quarantine, how different is the business landscape going to look? We're talking about restaurants, bars, shops, and as you said, even larger companies. I mean, are they going to be intact, or is it going to look vastly different from what we're used to?
Again, it sounds like a broken record. It depends. If you are a business that had adequate reserves and have prepared for when things don't go well, and you can extend that cash flow or working capital, you'll be more able to reopen in some form or fashion. If you went into it, you know, you're already struggling, you may not have that luxury. So we're working right now with a number of organizations around the region, certainly with our government officials, to put together a working toolkit. It'll be an online as well as probably something you can print to help people know what the regulations are, but also let our businesses do two things. Take care of their employees if they go back to when they open and get back to some form of operations, and take care of their customers. If we do that right, and we can give consumer confidence a boost, and we can kind of roll out the economy reopening in a much safer and a much more successful fashion.
Well, the businesses that you work with, no doubt, know their customers pretty well. Do you and your members agree with how local and state officials have handled the pandemic? I mean, would you say that it is time to start relaxing in some ways, as long as certain social distancing metrics are kept?
Well, listen, I applaud all of our elected officials who are in very difficult situations. We could all sit back next Monday morning or 6 months from now and find ways that we would have done something different, or we would have given different advice. But I think every single one, from the federal government all the way down to our local jurisdictions, are doing everything they can to make sure that they make sure that we get the right information out, that it's accurate, we follow the right rules that science and our health professionals are giving us, and then be able to reopen when it's the right manner. So I think it's all over the board right now of how people are helping. Certainly, you know, this disjointedness that some people have pointed to problems might have been a little better. But all in all, I look at the fact that our death rates are much lower than people forecasted. We're seeing actually the contamination rates not be as widespread with minimal hotspots. So I got to give our elected officials a lot of kudos. They've worked hard. They've been very open with us and trying to make sure they're communicating with different stakeholders. So I think we need to, not be caught in the armchair quarterbacking or the pointing blame, and get on the business of helping people.
And we have just a little bit of time left, Brian, but what is your advice to the folks at home, to the consumers? What can they do to help your business members and the general economic climate?
First thing is watch people like you, Bill, make sure they're getting the accurate information and staying on top of this fast-changing news. Listen to sites. We've got a COVID response site on our website that gives you that accurate information as well. If you're a small business, apply for loans if you haven't already done so. And consumers, get ready to go back to work, get ready to go back to shopping and eating out as soon as it's safe to do so.
All right, Brian Anderson, the president and CEO of Chamber RVA. We appreciate the good work you do and your time tonight, sir.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you, WTVR.